person. Regardless, we are on Lijiang Tower. This is a stage where Shore4 has dominated early on. I just had the camera on him again on the last control maps. His Mei has been something that they have to deal with. Right now, like, Immortals did get the better side of this against Cloud9, but Cloud9 is coming in hot, so this could go anyone's way.
Absolutely, and C9, they are going in. Both teams actually just trading off, very similar position to start things off. You take a look at Immortals, they're using the D.Va to win the shield battle early on. Rib got find himself in a rough position already, has to back out, but does get that kill onto Eichenwalde with the Fire Strike, so C9 bring it right back. But Grim Reality, this is where he can shine, but not when Shore4 comes in with the Icicle to the head, so it is very back and forth between both sides, and C9, in no small part due to that last Icicle shot by Shore4, will be pulling it back and getting first control.
Yep, Mei got nerfed a little bit. Her ult does not charge as quickly, otherwise Shore4 might have his Blizzard up already, but already at 65% just because his Icicles are on point. He rarely misses. He's probably about 60 to 70% accuracy on those things.
Alrighty, so C9 right now hanging on to the point, and this is where Shore4 really can utilize the control of his Mei, where he can either get a wall off onto the bridge or a wall off to them as they go through the room. And right now, I don't know if he was going for a split off there or not. Will only delay them with that wall. The hook does come in through the gap, but here's the Blizzard coming out from Shore4, going to nail at least 3 in here. Does get slept and taken out on the point, so Immortals still dealing with this pretty well. 5v5 as the fight breaks down.
Transcendence on point will mean that they should be able to lock this out. There should not be a whole lot of deaths coming on here. Both tanks on the left-hand side are going to get cleaned up, though. Kai does kill Nomi. Agility is things better of trying to fight gets off. A very interesting self-destruct came in from Hype there. Did get Kai, oddly enough, so Hype has to feel pretty decent about that, because it seemed like the fight had already been lost, and we know he's not going to be switching off of that D.Va, so Hype is going to go around the big pack side while everyone else comes off bridge. This is a little bit of an interesting strategy. Generally, teams don't break up like this.
No, definitely not. And here's the thing, Mendo holding on to that whole hog, but hold the phone. Here comes Nami, drops the Earth Shatter, knocks down 2, and Immortals making their push in off of that Reinhardt play. But Shore4 going to be applying a little bit more control on the Mei. Does get the freeze, but his team is dying all around him, and it's Agilities. We know him for crazy Roadhog play earlier in the day and yesterday. Does it here once more, picks up 3. And oh, did he get this? He did get it! Shore4 knocked right into the pit. What a god.
Agilities has had just games and a half on his Roadhog. It has been something that every team needs to have, that Roadhog ace in the hole. For the last couple of matches, Mendo has looked a lot more comfortable on the Roadhog. He's going to have to get super comfortable on it to try to win this Hog v Hog, but guys like Agilities, even Connor J we saw yesterday, have really leveled up their Roadhog game, and right now in this current meta, you have to have a standout Roadhog.
You really do, and now Agility's holding on to that whole hog here, gonna be using it to break the Reinhardt shield perhaps in just a moment. For now, Immortals are not really pushing this, they're making C9 come into them, and I think for good reason. They don't want to get split off by Shore4 and his Mei. Mei having more difficulties going in when on the offense, but Agilities gets charged into the backline, will find time to take a breather. So still back and forth, and it's Hyped that's actually really deep in, does find a way of disengaging, and C9 just bleeding players one after the other. Not anything big here, just they overextend and they get punished. Uh-oh, Hex, are you there?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, hotkeys went nuts. Yeah, as you mentioned, not doing anything super out of the ordinary, just kind of basic fighting here. They haven't used any ultimates, which is why they have such a war chest now. 5 ults up compared to the 2 of Cloud9. Cloud9 still with the advantage overall percentage-wise, but they have to win this fight and the next one to really secure the map.
Here comes the self-destruct in from Hype, going to the backline, still finds Mendo, but that's not the story. The story is Nomi rolls in with the Earth Shadow, swings the hammer, picks up 3, and Immortals, they are fighting this back here. Hex, remember, C9 started out very strong, and now C9 find themselves on the back foot. They're only going to have one more push left to put this back in their favor. Now they do have Rib with the Earth Shatter, they have Mendo with the whole hog, and Rib, he's been big for C9 here today, gets the Earth Shatter in, knocking down 2, and C9 gonna be trying to bring this right back.
Agilities during that did take down Adam, so it's a nice equalizing hook there. Agilities is taken out eventually by Shore4. Hype takes down Rolf, so it's very back and forth on the point. Shore4 is still looking for more. Finds Ethan frozen and killed. It is just getting down to a brawl. 3v3, but the reinforcements might come in a little bit quicker for Immortals here as there's people coming in over the bridge.
People are coming over the bridge. Kai still trying to fight it out here for C9. Remember, C9, this is do or die for them. They cannot back out. We are in overtime. If they stop touching the point, the round will go the way of Immortals. And Immortals, they get the cleanup they're looking for and will evict C9. And that's a bit of a heartbreaker there for C9, given how things start out. And I do question one thing here, Slasher, and I'm curious what you think. Do you think they stayed on the Mei too long there, especially when they were still trying to retake the point for that long of a time?
I'm not necessarily sure if that was it, but Surefour died with ult. So why not just use it and try to get an extra kill there? That last battle was so close that maybe 1 or 2 extra kills would have secured the victory, and they already had 75%. So I don't necessarily think that staying on Mei was too long, but maybe not using the ult was a big part of that.
Alright, so we're going to be moving into the Sanctum phase here. Surefour still looking to be on that Mei, and I'm totally okay with that for this particular stage, so long as they're not stuck trying to fight back. If C9 can get first control, obviously we can see the Mei really control the entire aspect of the round, but if not, maybe you should consider swapping off, going to McCree something else. But either way, the fight is underway early on in Agilities, finds Mendo Kusai very early on here. Surefour and Rib fighting right back, so it is 4v4. It is getting a little bit more discombobulated here, but Hype still in decent health, going to the backline, and has been a real terror here on this D.Va. Gonna attract the attention of 4 members of C9, but while it's happening, what happens? Grim Reality comes in from the back, finds Kai, and Immortals well on their way to taking this point.
I think Mendo was kind of voting that they should go double flanker. He had switched on to Genji very much earlier. I think he got outvoted as, you know, not the senior member of Cloud9 there, so they did switch off and running mostly mirror matches right now. And as you mentioned, Grim Reality with the cleanup, a lot of primary fires and right clicks there coming in through him towards the end to really knock it off. Nomi's about to have his Earthshatter up. That means he was swinging very big because Rib's only at 50%.
C9 right now definitely find themselves in a bit of trouble here, but there's a hook from Mendo, pulls Nomi all the way back, but oh no, has he gone too much there? Nomi gets a 3-man Earthshatter. The fall through not necessarily there though, as Immortals slowly but surely starting to get pushed back, but they're not giving this up without a fight here, Hex. They're still going to be stalling things out. They're going to make C9 at least get one more big pickoff, and here comes Grim Reality, nano boost on him, here comes a Hog, going to be pushing 2 people back. That's a ride Reinhardt does not want to go on, and even though this is still a losing fight for Immortals, they're buying themselves an awful lot of time.
They did buy themselves a lot of percentage. Unfortunately, they did get off the point during that, so now they're fighting down people, and they don't have control of the point, which is not a winning proposition. They should have stayed on the point if they wanted to continue to try to stall out up here. They did not, so that 14% that Cloud9 has is 14% that likely could have been an Immortals bank if they had just positioned themselves a little stronger on that point. They did not, so this is the position we're in. Agility is about to have Blizzard, Hype is about to have a self-destruct, and there is a sound barrier up, so they should have all the tools they need to take this back.
Well, the problem is Kai is going to open up here with the Graviton, pulling in 3 members of Immortals, if not more, and all of C9 swarming in on that, but they don't get any pickoffs from it. Instead, it's Grim Reality punishing Rib, and it is even here on the point. Mendo going to try and bring it back. Whole Hog right in Nomi, going to be pushing him back, looking for a hook here in just a moment. Does find the hook on the Lucio, and that is absolutely massive for C9. Mendo will fall, but enough damage has been done. C9 has the numbers advantage, and Surefour is just going to slowly finish this off as C9 now about 2 team fights away from taking this round.
Yeah, Mendo has had a very solid Roadhog game himself, and Grim Reality has had a decent one. They've switched off, actually. Agilities was one playing it last time, so I don't know if not having a super dedicated Roadhog hurts them. Trying to switch off on pools we've seen actually hurt teams here and there, so kind of interesting. Mendo gets this very first hook, brings Agilities in, but unable to finish that kill as the Earthshatter came down. Very bloody down there, but it's mostly C9 getting the better part of this as Surefour and Mendo combined for 3.
And for C9, they are now 1 fight away from taking this round, and they really do restabilize here, and it's been a team effort. Surefour, I mean, he's had some good moments, but it hasn't been all him. Mendo's had some very important hooks over the last little bit, and Kaikai's still been great, both on shields and for Graviton, so going to this next fight, it is a little bit rough for Immortals, but they must rush in. They throw it down the Blizzard and get nothing from it. They do bait out the sound barrier at the very least, but you need to get a little bit more from your Blizzard, regardless. Grim Reality on the Tracer, going to be looking for hooks in the back line. 5 versus 5 here, Hex. And we'll see if he can do it.
It's very odd so many times that the Reinhardt's getting kind of boosted, but not going after things. Without that speed boost, he knows he's just going to get kited, so they're using it more as like a heal, or if he's right in the fracas already. Nomi got boosted and just kind of chilled with it most of the time. They're luckily probably not going to need it as there's only 3 alive, but Graviton comes in late though, trying to make something out of nothing here is Kai. They know they have to just win this one more fight.
Well, for now, Hyped is buying a lot of time here for Immortals, attracting all the attention from C9. While it's going on, you have Grim Reality coming in off the flank, doing quite a bit of damage here on this Tracer. And Immortals, with their backs against the wall, they're able to retake this. And for C9, they have to be hoping that this isn't deja vu all over again, where C9, they came out really strong in the last map, ended up losing it in the end. And for Immortals, they're only 2 fights away here, actually really not that far away. Grim Reality on a mission, coming in the backline, holding on to Pulse Bomb, holding it, throws it out, doesn't get the pickoff he's looking for. Adam, though, still is a little bit low, doesn't feel comfortable going in, and that's huge.
It did so much damage, but the fact that it was so far in the backline means that there's not going to be anyone there to clean up. Both these blizzards catch some people, but again, they're both being blizzed, so no one is there to clean up. Mendo grabs a couple. That is both supports down. This should be Cloud9's fight.
It should be, and yet Agilities and Grim Reality are still up. They're still moving in and around. C9 does retake control of the point, but Immortals still has at least a little bit of a prayer to bring this back. But they are going to need some heroism here. And with Agilities and Nomi going down, oh no! They're not able to get to a point in time. Verbo and Grim, so close yet so far. But I will say there that for as good as Grim did for them to retake the point, he did sort of whiff it there towards the end where he had a great opportunity to Pulse Bomb. Ana wasn't even looking at him, and I hate to use this phrase because it's so overused, but I would call that a bit of a choke.
Not great. So tied up 1-1, de facto best of 3 here on Lijiang. Of course, the 1-0 advantage you see is not because Immortals won a map while we were experiencing technical difficulties. It's because they did not lose a set tonight. So they stayed in the winner's bracket all the way. We reward the winner's bracket winner with a +1 game. We feel it's fair around here. It has worked out in the past. We have seen people come out of the lower bracket and do reverse sweeps. We have seen anything happen in the monthly melee. So that's where we're at right now. 1-1 on the stage map, rather.
All right, so any team's game here as we move on to the one and only night market. Immortals getting onto that point for C9, taking a little bit more time, and the beautiful flashbang over the top sets up Rib. Rib, nothing he could do there, took way too much damage, and that's just good solid McCree play coming out here from Grim Reality. 2 kills from Immortals, and they're going to be pushing back C9 here. Not a whole lot you can do when you lose your Reinhardt that early, especially in this meta where characters like Roadhog are that oppressive.
Yeah, Grim Reality with a couple bit of a cleanup there too. He's been on his McCree game all night. What a treat it is to see Grim Reality versus Shore4. If they do get in direct cowboy duels, that'll be one that we want to make a clip of course, because they are 2 of the best McCrees in the game. Ethan already has his boost up, which means he's been doing a ton of work on the Ana. Of note, though, Cloud9 not running an Ana of their own. Ethan unable to get that boost off because Shore4 hits him in the dome.
Still relatively even between both teams. Shore4 might be a good cowboy, but he went down to Agilities there. So C9, they're going to start moseying onto the point. They don't have a gigantic number advantage, so it's not going to be as quick of a take as they'd want. That said, Grim Reality doesn't have a whole lot of meat in front of him, and Kai takes advantage, moves in, gets a quick kill, and C9 will retake control. 32% to 4%. And now the question is for C9, will they be able to hold on here? If they lose the point here, Hex, it's not the end of the world, but they are going to have to hold for quite a while, nonetheless.
Yeah, it's kind of not really indicative of Cloud9 to be holding as far back as they are right now. Generally, they're right up at that door. Of course, maybe not having the Mei is something to do with it, but they like to hold very far forward. But this is an aggressive Immortals team, so they're giving them some space.
And speaking of space right now, Shore4 is getting a lot of space to do whatever he wants here in the back line. Now, the Transcendence was used by C9. They don't get any kills off it. That's a bit of a win coming in from Immortals. Shore4, though, just going to hang out here in the back, looking to deal it damage. Has to back out a bit from the self-destruct, but look at this Deadeye. It's great positioning. Skulls are coming up, and does grab the Lucio if nothing else. Still, though, he has work to do. His team getting bullied out by Agilities. Agilities is falling. He's in a one-on-one here with this Diva. Going to use the health pack to his advantage. Picks up the health pack and still lives. However, his team not fearing anywhere near as well.
Yeah, everyone else had already died. The silver lining here for Cloud9 is that they did not end up burning ultimates in a losing battle, so they're going to have a huge ultimate advantage. 3 up for them. The 3 tank ultimates up, you know, regardless, that's an amazing boon to their ultimate bank. 1 should only come out. You don't want to use 2. There's the grab. They use 2.
Graviton comes in, and Kai there for the cleanup. Rib swinging the hammer, literally throwing people out of that Graviton. 4 kills here from C9. And it's been very back and forth. Now, both teams effectively in the zone where they only need 2 big team fights. And neither team really all that high up on ult charge, so this next fight going to be a little bit more by the book. There is a nano boost that can come out, but short of that, this very well could decide the game, and it's going to be a mostly ult-free experience.
Look, maybe I'm trying to find flaws where they don't exist, but did you need 3 ultimates to win that fight? Did you need Graviton, Earthshatter, and Whole Hog to win that fight? It's like Cloud9's been kind of wasteful on ults all night, and that's a habit they don't want to be making. Like that, I don't know. I mean, they won the fight, good for them, but that's something we need to look at moving forward.
Absolutely, and for now, Immortals are playing this smart. They have basically given up one push by how long they're waiting, but they did bait some key ultimates out of C9. They find Rib early on before the Transcends can save him. It was a late Transcends from Rulf, and now for Immortals, it gives them the 65 opportunity where Grim Reality, looking for the Deadeye in the back, doesn't get the happy little skull he's looking for, but has zoned people out enough, gets the final kill. So Immortals, they're going to be coming in and retaking this point.
Yeah, you know what would have stopped Nomi on his reign of terror, and Earthshatter would have been really nice there. All right, I'll leave it alone for now, but Nomi has actually been really impressing me tonight. I feel he's on the precipice of becoming one of those top-tier Rhines. He just needs to be a little more consistent. He's got games where he shows up huge, and you're calling his name, but then he's got games where, who is Nomi? So he's on the verge. I think he's had one of his best series tonight. Looked really good. Cleaned up most of that fight with the boost onto him from the Ana. This next fight will decide this stage.
It absolutely will. Surefour coming in over the top, gonna open up the Deadeye. Had a skull for a moment, wasn't able to get it right away, but does get agilities. Agilities couldn't get through the doorway, and now 6v5 for C9. Immortals gonna have to find a way of pulling this back, but they have no answer for Surefour. He's already picked off 2. They get the hook towards the very end, and it might be all but over here. As C9, they flood onto the point, and there's just no response possible, really, from some Immortals. Oh, as I say that, Agilities is looking for the miracle towards the very end. C9 throwing it away! Oh my goodness, here come Immortals!
Hype's got 2 in his self-destruct, which was brutal. Then they kept both of their DPS alive. Grim and Agilities combined for 3. Now the onus completely on Cloud9 is they're going to come in looking for their own miracle.
That should not have happened. C9 had such an enormous advantage there, and they end up throwing it away. Surefour did so much, but here comes C9. It's not over quite yet, but they are flooding onto a point. They don't necessarily have the best position here. Surefour having his hands full of Grim Reality. Grim Reality finds him in the end. Immortals going to come back in a situation where I am still a little bit shocked that that went that way, because it was such a good opening by Surefour.
Yeah.
They went onto the point. They had everything in their favor, and it's Grim Reality bringing it back from the edge with agilities. And I gotta say, if you're C9, you're not happy over that one.
You mentioned Grim Reality and agilities, but it was honestly hyped.
Yeah.
Who threw the Diva Bomb and got 2 over Rib's shield, and pretty much he was one that opened up that team fight to allow Immortals to get back in there.
Well, what was cool about Grim Reality and Hyped, instead of going in to try to clean up and like making themselves exposed, they were playing peekaboo around those walls on the edges, coming in, getting one, going out, coming in, getting one, going out, and letting Hype do all the stall on the point while they just got all the damage in. So yes, absolutely, it was Hype's self-destruct, and then his Diva stall on the point. It made them much more effective, but you're absolutely right.
Hyped in general has had a very good day, period.
Yep.
Even going back to some of the series that we saw just a bit ago, where his Diva play has very much been on point. But Immortals right now getting into it once more with C9. Early hook coming out here. Eichenwalde on the Rib, Kai on the Nomi. And C9 gonna win the most out of that early exchange to start things off here. And Rulf, an engine of keeping people alive. Barely keeping Surefour in this. Some nice heals from that. And C9, they will get first control at this point.
Yeah, Mendo with another hook there too, takes out Verbo. It seems like this map really agrees with Mendo's Roadhog. He seems to have some of his best games on Control Center here. Opens it up with 2 beautiful hooks, looks for a third, and they're going to try to press this advantage. They want to pick off some stragglers. This is something that teams need to learn a little more often, is like when you disengage, you have to fully disengage. What are you really gaining by meandering out here?
Surefour gets Verbo early on in this fight. Being down Lucio, not where you want to be in King of the Hill in particular. Late hook, though, does come out here from agilities. Putting Rib in a pretty rough situation here. Rib still swinging the hammer. Somehow alive at 50 HP. Gets healed up by the rest of C9. C9 will be turning that in their favor. Not really stifled at all by that Immortals attack.
Yeah, and Immortals has to sit all the way back and spawn until Nomi comes up. They're going to have to slow push this up their own stairs to get through their own door. This is the Cloud9 kind of pressure that we know on King of the Hill maps, where they just hold very far forward. Now they're going to feel like extra safe doing it because they've got the Mei there, and fail that, they've also got a Zarya ult. But look at this, they're going to creep around. Immortals flipping the script on him, goes around the mid side.
And this is big. Hyped is going to catch him with the surprise Graviton. Pulls in 2 immediately. C9 activating Immortals trap card. The Blizzard comes goes in for good measure. That was great positioning coming out from Immortals. And again, I don't think C9 realized, oh, as we turn this corner, there's going to be a graviton? Yes, there's going to be a graviton. You're all going to die. And Immortals still having to fight a little bit for the cleanup here, but they should be able to get control of this point. And it's their first control of the round.
Immortals is a cool team on some of these maps too, because when a lot of teams would just decide to bully their way in, like, oh, they're holding there, we got to go fight there, they decide, well, let's just try somewhere else, and they try all these different angles, and it usually ends up working out for them. They cannot give that point back up for free, though. I do not agree with that. They had 6 members up, no one could put a toe on the point.
And here comes Surefour. Blizzard is out already. Ends up picking up 2 as a result. Immortals, they're just going to need to back out here. But no, they recommit with the nano boost. I'm not sure about that at all. There's down so many people. I mean, no matter how hard Nomi swings that hammer, probably not going to happen. Time to let it go. And Immortals are going to have to back out. But the problem is that it's 97%. I guess they feel compelled to go in. It's no winning here, I guess, either way.
As much
but
as we were
still
praising their positioning before to roll around and take that point, the fact that they rolled it all the way back to their own stairs and then gave up the point without a person on it, they had 6 alive, and they just let Cloud9 bully them out of position and take it back. So if you're going to fight while it means something, fight while the point is still in your control. I don't agree with what happened there, but decisive map, I think we're in for a pretty good set, ZP, if this is any indication.
Well, I do think so. However, I do think that there's a lot more pressure on C9 to win this than not. Immortals does have that 1 game advantage from coming in on the upper bracket. So for C9, they really have to come out quite strong here. And nope, we do have a switch up. Surefour going to be coming in here on the McCree to start the night market, going to take up the task of Cowboy v Cowboy versus Grim Reality. And we'll see if it works out here. But here's the thing that's really been messing with Surefour. It has been hyped. Hyped has been in his face constantly in a way that I think I would have liked to have seen Complexity do when Nicholas was on the Diva. So Surefour gonna have to tread lightly here. A lot of times gonna have to give a lot more attention to hype than perhaps he would like. And while he's doing that, Grim Reality will potentially have more room to get on C9. And there it is, the flashbang over the top. Farewell the rib. What coordination there between Agilities and Grim Reality.
That's beautiful. That's 2 very decisive first kills. Kaikai already gives up the ghost himself. That is a 6-0 in about 10 seconds. That's before the point even unlocks. You cannot win a fight faster than that.
Well, I'm just gonna, again, I'm gonna draw attention to the synergy there where Grim Reality and Agilities, the comms were on point. As soon as the flashbang hit over the top, the hook was already on its way, and there was nothing, just nothing that Rib could do, short of having a really good tilt up to avoid the flashbang, which easier said than done. That said, Rule finding himself on the wrong side of Eichenwalde early on this fight. Immortals just smothering this doorway, not letting C9 get out cleanly. They weren't expecting it. Immortals should be able to hold this next fight.
Well, Nomi takes down Mendo. There goes Verbo off the edge as well. Very back and forth as it alternates. Rib is the one doing a lot of damage for this team. Is he going to have the support as he tries to mow in here onto the point? It is, like I said, very back and forth. The flankers are coming from the right side. Rib finally goes down as he was all alone, and that's all they need to chase down and clean up the remainder of this Cloud9 team.
Immortals doing quite a good job here. 43%, and remember, for C9, this is about as must-win as you get, so they really need to dig deep and find a way of getting through here. They don't really have the resources to do it, so they're going to need either Surefour to get a quick 2-tap or Mendo to get a quick hook. That's where they need the contribution to come from here, because they're not going to win this on ult economy. Here we go. Mendo coming in from the back line, going in on Agilities, does end up winning the fight. I'm not even sure how. He was the second one the hook, still worked out for him as Surefour cleans up in the back. C9 pulling the miracle that they needed, and they are not out of this yet.
And there's no way that should have happened. They tried an Earth Shatter there. It got absolutely no one. You saw the huge advantage they had in ultimates. That all goes back to the 6-0 really clean wipe that they got in the very first fight. That's the advantage that you get about halfway through the map. And now look at ults. They should not have lost that fight. They got 0 value off most of their ultimates, and now Cloud9 in a very decent spot.
Well, the situation is completely reversed here, where C9 that was really bankrupt in terms of ults, and everything was going the way of Immortals, but Immortals, they used a bunch of ults there, got nothing with it, and even worse, C9 didn't have to use ults to win that fight, so this has gone from bad to worse here for Immortals. They might be ahead in progress, but they're absolutely behind in this game right now. And now it's going to be up to them to find the hero plays here where, again, I look to Grim Reality, I look to Agilities, and certainly I look to Hypothize when playing. But an Earth Shot from Rib, threaded the needle, knocks down 4, and C9 just going to feast off of that opening.
Absolutely crushed. They do take down Mendo eventually, but that is a trade they will make every single day. A monstrous Earth Shatter. That's not even really on Nomi either. There a lot of people in front of his shield there getting knocked down as well. So 5-man Earthshatter, 66 to 66% just about now. Cloud9 had to use a lot there, but they are going to have a couple ults of their own, and to secure a fight like that, you're fine using some ultimates there. They're going to have some more. Now we are going to see who can win this vanilla battle, not going to be the Q showdown that we've seen the last couple fights.
Vanilla battle now on the way between both teams as Hex is just set up. I mean, Wolf will have the nano boost here, but this is must win for Immortals. If they lose this fight, they're not going to get another opportunity. They come in with the sound barrier. C9 having to give up a little bit of space here. They lose Rip early on. And this is okay for Immortals. They have the nano-boosted Cowboy. Grim effectively picking up 2, moving in and around. And Immortals not going down just yet. This Hex is going to be coming down to the wire.
Nomi with a really nice Earthshatter there. I mean, who knows what he would have gotten short for on his Deadeye there, but it would have been probably something. They had him segmented off, though. So the Earthshatter goes down to knock him to the ground. That is going to be another flip of the script here as Immortals takes that fight and now still has the ultimate advantage. Grim and Hyped have theirs at the ready. No ults in sight for Cloud9. They won't have another ult this game.
Well, C9 quickly goes around the backside. They don't get picked off. That's a nice engage from C9 to at least get here, not get tripped up by the gateway, but there's still a lot of ways for Immortals to come in and win this fight. And Hyped, looking to go to the back line, ends up getting charged out, not going to get the hero self-destruct, but while this is going on, Agilities is going to work in the back, has already picked off Sure4, Grim Reality on the Atom, 4 kills here from Immortals, and Hex, they are just about there. C9 struggling to stand the point, and it is not going to be enough. Immortals taking Lijiang Tower in about as close of a game as you can get, and now just one game away from winning their first Alienware Merry Melee.
And it's going to be so important if they do, and I want to get Slasher's input on this, but to beat Cloud9 twice on the way there, Cloud9, who a lot of people think, myself included, probably the best team in North America at the moment, that would be enormous.
I mean, yeah, Immortals is playing really well right now. I mean, you've got to give it up to Nomi for having a great tank game, and especially Hype and especially Agilities on how well that they are both zoning out Sure4 and all the hit scan play that he's had. And Agilities, I would say, has gotten the better of Mendo between the two Roadhogs in this matchup. I think the big thing for me is maybe Cloud9's team fighting has been better than Immortals, and they've been winning the first point, or they've been winning second team fight in a more clean fashion. But Immortals has had better ult conservation throughout all of these games. Cloud9 has been using too many ults to win team fights, or they've been using too many ults when they've already gone down 1 or 2 members when they didn't need to. At the very last round there, they had the 99% lead already to, I think, 70, and they decided, Rope decided to use Ana ult, and Kakai decided to use Diva ult at the end when they were already down 1 or 2 people. They could have just died anyway. They already had 99 and then gone in that last team fight with at least something to work with instead of having to play from behind too much. I mean, I understand trying to just use ults because you want to win the team fight. You don't want to risk using 1 or 2 and then losing it anyway. But you can see at some of these times where if they had 1 or 2 extra ults at the secondary team fight, they probably would have won that map.
And it's unfortunate, too. I mean, especially because C9 was so close to winning that map. And there was also, again, there was that moment where C9 did have to pull it back from the brink, and they had a lot of momentum from there on out. I mean, there was a point where I think it was like 60 to 40%, and C9 had 6 ultimates to none on the Immortal side. If they had played the ult economy game just a little bit better there, they could have probably rode that advantage all the way to the end, but it wasn't the case, and now C9 going to have to do the reverse sweep if they want to pull this back.
So just to clarify comments, yes, Envious is NA. I haven't seen Envious play NA in a while. Fnatic is NA, so not to disparage them as well. I guess Rogue moved to North America. I'm sorry, I live in the moment here. I see Cloud9 play every month, so for me, so Cloud9 is like the NA team because they play in NA and online tournaments. So that is my biases coming through, I suppose. But not to take away from the point that Cloud9 is a very, very strong team. They beat all the other contenders in North America pretty handily over the last several months. And for Immortals to make a statement like this, beating Cloud9 not once but twice in a monthly melee, would be huge for them because they've always been kind of a mid-level team, and this would be a statement kind of tournament for them.
Well, for reference on Immortals, too, I mean, they're not a team that always gets invited to some of the bigger tournaments right now, because you take a look at it, they're sort of like, well, there's a lot of teams in their same group where you think about Immortals, you can't talk about Immortals without talking about Rise, without talking about Kingdom, without talking about Team Liquid and all these other teams in the pack. Well, if Immortals beat C9 here, which they are well on their way to doing, you have to separate them from the pack and go, wow, they're doing well. Now, of course, there is the entire situation where we don't know how they would really perform with this current roster in live environment. We did see them at E-League. They didn't go as far as we would have liked, though they did have a decent showing. But it's still not the worst here for Immortals, where they've had a track record now of consistent improvement.
I always fear on how Cloud9 is going to go with that dive comp. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult playing against Immortals because they do have Grim Reality on McCree as opposed to Complexity, who had a soldier.
Well, Immortals right now being highly aggressive on this defense, not giving C9 an inch. They take down Rib immediately, but Eichenwalde ends up going a little bit too far out. He ends up falling, so Immortals has to be careful here. They can be aggressive, but if they feed too much, C9 will overwhelm them with respawns.
Yeah, but
that's kind of what's happening right now, where they've gotten kills, but C9 is getting their licks in as well, and this is a fight that C9 will win if Immortals is not careful.
Yeah, when the kill feed alternates like that, is generally going to be in favor of the offense. They were moments away from pulling it back by a big play from Hype, knocked Rolf off the top ground and was able to take it back from that. And we've seen Immortals take a first point away, but I don't think the stall potential is going to be there. But, you know, I speak too soon when it comes to Immortals. They get a couple people on the point. They do not want to give this up for free, but Nomi going down really hurts their chances of bringing this back.
It absolutely does. Grim Reality still trying to be a hero here, just sneaking around as McCree. Finds Surefour there somehow. And is the dream going to be real? I mean, Grim Reality's creeping here, and no, he doesn't get back in the point time. Not that you want to be the McCree that hops on the point at that moment anyways. No. It's usually, I would say, not even 9 times out of 10, it's more like 99 times out of 100. If the thing standing between the team and taking the point is a McCree body, they're probably going to take the point. McCree, not the greatest with all eyes on him.
Probably the last hero you want to be kind of stepping on the point. He does not accelerate or excel in those situations, rather. So Kaikai is going to go in pretty deep there, gets taken out of his suit, and probably cleans up momentarily after that. They are going to try to take this high ground, but with Hyped around, he is not going to let people take high ground for free. He has been very good at using the D.Va abilities to knock people off of high ground. There you go. There goes the Zenyatta off of high ground. Short4 still up here being a nuisance, though. They've not been able to deal with him. And, you know, Short4 put on his cloak the last set, and they have to be able to deal with Short4 just going on the high ground here.
Well, here's the bigger problem is that you take a look at C9. Mendo going to have that Dragon Blade up here in just a moment. C9 playing with house money now in terms of how many ultimates they do have up. They did blow the sound barrier just to kill Grim Reality, but here comes Mendo. Dragon Blade outlaying the fight, looking for that sweet, sweet cleanup, going to the top, actually forcing D.Va off, which you don't see all that often. Mendo, though, he's dug too deep, ends up getting taken out by agilities, and now you wonder if C9
you're gonna see the
sort of mismanaged ults there again.
They're going to disengage right now because they just lost both of their DPS players. Short4 had gone down previously to Hyped, and now it's going to be very difficult for them to retake the high ground. One thing I like about Immortals a lot is that they do prioritize high ground more than some of the other teams. They won't let someone just sit up there the entire time. Even if they have to throw a lot at it, they refuse to die to someone just poking away at them from up top.
Nomi right now hanging in and about right now, holding on to that Earth Shatter. Not going to get a chance to use it. Rib pierces on through with the shoulder tackle. Takes him out. Agility's on the Atom. 5v5 right now, but C9,
meanwhile,
they definitely have the momentum on the payload right now, and this is a bit problematic. Immortals are going to have to regroup and resettle, and oh, what an Earth Shot from Rib with 30 HP remaining. Knocks down 4, opens the door for Mendo to get it back.
Transcend was absolutely clutch, though. Saved most of his team. They did lose one, but that was a beefy Earthshatter. Should have lost a whole lot more. Ethan will eventually pay his life for it. Hype goes down as well. Agility is trying to even it up, but it is not going to be enough. This should end up being Cloud9 taking this point as Mendo's looking for the cleanup here.
Well, Mendo's looking for the cleanup, and let me tell you, he's getting that cleanup. But why? Although, again, the Dragon Blade, is that really necessary here? I mean, sure, Grim Reality is about to come out, but they had such a numbers advantage that, again, sure, it's looking flashy. Mendo just picked off another 2.
Yeah.
It's not the worst, but
actually, I'm okay with it in this situation because this is one of those maps, much like Gibraltar, where spawns can totally phone a team, but you need to be in a position to take advantage of it. So those spawns did come out. He ended up grabbing like 3 kills with that Dragon Blade, and it looked like he was using it just to secure the point, but I think he was actually looking forward of like, we just killed 3 people 5 seconds ago. They're going to be spawning. Let's stagger them.
I guess. I'm not entirely convinced here because this has been a consistent
who knows if
problem
that
for
was the
C9 all
plan or
night.
not, but that's how it ended up working out.
And here's the problem. C9, they're drained on ultimates here. They really don't have anything they can use to push forward. They are going to get bullied back by that Deadeye. And Immortals, I mean, they're able to maintain position here within reason, though now they're the ones getting bullied back just from raw poke alone, so Immortals perhaps overstaying their bounds here. C9 going to be on the pursuit here once more, and we have an Earthshatter coming up for Rib, and we know what that means.
Nerf this.
Yeah, well, Nomi's got his up too, so Ryan Games will commence momentarily, but Nomi goes down to roll. It's a beautiful
Rib comes in, knocks down 4. Could not have been any more beautiful there for him. The Earthshatter prophecy is real, and now Immortals really on the back foot.
I'm giving that Earthshatter to Rolf because he's the one who killed the opposing Reinhardt, made him feel completely safe. And look at this, now Rib was alive, Nomi tried to Earthshatter into him, got 0.
I'll see 9 right now on cleanup duty. They just need a little bit more. Immortals, though, to their credit, if they can just get 1 or 2 kills here, Hex, they could start turning it back around, but easier said than done. Grim Reality looking to be a miracle worker. He does get the sound bear up, so this is going to be his best chance to really get down and dirty, look to take out a Wolf. But while it's going on, Mendo slicing, dicing, turning things inside out here on top of the payload, and C9's pressure on the payload just absolutely relentless.
Yeah, they will end up cleaning this up. Agility's on the Sombra, not enough to slow it down. 2:13 left in the time bank for Cloud9. They do not want to go meekly into this Dark Night.
0 to 3. Switching sides.
So, they're saying contested Overwatch at 0.00. That would have been incredible if it was a hold right there. Just for the heck of it, be like, so if they just got 0.0001 more.
It is like it's not a precise science where the card is. It sometimes gets like 0.1 off, 0.01 off or something like that. You know, sometimes you'll push it like 88.88 and the other team push it 88.87 and you still complete it. So it's just whatever. It's one of those things. Limos aren't an exact science, clearly.
It is a very nice limo as far as the future is concerned.
So Cloud9 having some success with Dive Comp, even though Grim Reality is on a McCree, and even though they have to deal with an Ana and Roadhog. They've been doing quite well with that type of offense all throughout today.
Somewhere in the world.
Yeah, Mendo's Genji is very, very good. Even though we haven't seen it a ton of times, you generally see it from them on well, actually, I wanted to say Route 66, but Shore4 plays their Genji on Route 66 when they run it, oddly enough. So just different maps for different types of heroes for Cloud9 does kind of display their versatility that they've got in their hero pool. So interesting stuff. We'll see. I mean, I think that Cloud9 put up a very good time. 2:13 is a time that, you know, it's medium. We've seen 4-minute times and we've seen teams finish at like 30 seconds left. So it's pretty solid. But given what Cloud9 has done on defense tonight, I feel that they have to be happy with that offense.
Well, for C9, they just need something to hang their hats on here because they are down 2 maps to 0 right now, and they're going to have to play perfect not only here on Hollywood, but they're going to need to have a high standard of play going forward if they want to reverse course here. And I mean, C9, they have been in this position before. They have had some great comebacks in their time, but it's never a great situation to be in. But here we go. Offense is going to be on its way, and nothing too crazy coming out here from Immortals. They're very comfortable running Grim on McCree in most situations, running Hyped on that Diva, and they're all together here as they go through the backside of Hollywood, and they're just going to go straight into the cafe, and this is one heck of a dive coming in.
Yeah, and just a beautiful play from Hype, getting 2 people out of position with that Diva ability. Yes, he gives his life for it, but he turned that fight in their favor without even killing anyone, without firing a shot. He knocked 2 off the top, gave them the huge advantage they need in the cafe. They're going to win this fight because of it.
It was just beauty to watch them flank all the way around, and C9, it really just feels like they got caught with their pants down there, where suddenly 6 people in the cafe, nothing they could do about it whatsoever. Hype set them up, Grim Reality knocking them down, and that's about as decisive as a first attack as you get. 5.5 minutes left to Immortals here as they begin their assault on second.
So I kind of want to start calling what the Divas do to people to get them off ledges a scoop, as we've got Lucio Boops, but it seems like you just take that kind of curvature up top, you wrangle them in and scoop them off the edge, and Hype has been doing it to people all night. Yes, early on it was environmental kills, but it's these smaller parts to take away the high ground advantage and get them away from their team that has been so important, and Hype is doing it better than anyone.
Hyped has been doing great here, and for Immortals, they're keeping up momentum here on the payload. C9 just struggling to get their footing on top of themselves. They're not going to be able to get on the high ground as they'd like. Sure4 much more comfortable being a cowboy in the sky rather than a cowboy on the ground. There we go, Deadeye coming out here from Grim Reality. He is in over the top, and now he is sleeping. A great sleep dart coming out there from C9. Rolf putting him to bed. But Mendo goes down early, so it's still not won here by C9 as Immortals, making most of it despite losing one of their most impactful DPS players to start the fight.
They've been absolutely bleeding tanks since then, though. Short4 is going to get the boosted Deadeye. Nomi's right in front of him with the shield, though. Here comes Hyped right in his grill, although they do boop him out of the way at the last second, so he gets Verbo. Now they're all in a bad position. That is an Earthshatter coming down. This should be Immortals taking it away. Even though the tanks have respawned, there is not enough here for them to hold this.
Immortals is getting so much mileage off their tank play right now. I can't say enough for what Hyped and Nomi are doing. Rib trying to pull it back for C9, but he is one amongst many right now. Will get taken down immediately. Grim Reality on the Atom, and for C9 the question is, do they come out here and try and go for the last moment hold? They try to, and Rolf just gets caught down, outbaited by Grim Reality, and this is going from bad to worse. Over 5 minutes left here for Immortals to bring this to its final destination. Even though C9 said a quick time hex, this is looking like it could be even faster than that.
This is a wet paper bag kind of defense. They have not stopped them at all. They are searching for answers. Mendo very briefly on the Sombra, trying to convince them that might be the answer. Now he goes back to a more comfortable hero for him in the Genji on defense, something you don't necessarily see on last point. I think it's a 100% a comfort pick at this point. Rolf will roll over to the Zenyatta. They are struggling for answers. Nothing they've done has worked against this Immortals offense.
Absolutely not. And now for Immortals, you take a look at Hyped. He's holding on to that self-destruct, can throw it in over the top at a moment's notice. Here comes the Sound Bear, and here come the Immortals. They're going to be engaging right off of the support ultimate. And Hyped goes to the back line, leaves a bomb for good measure. Sure4 just struggling to get out. Will line of sight it before it's all said and done. And now here comes the turnabout. Deadeye out for Sure4, picks off one, and C9. Really nice movement to deal with that. Hyped was about a few meters away from putting C9 in a really rough position, but they maneuver around that Diva ultimate, and Sure4 comes back in what was a very tense situation.
In the midst of that, Rib hit an enormous Earth Shatter, another 4-man Shatter. Yes, he got cleaned up. He had to give his life for it, but set up his team for some very easy kills afterwards. When Cloud9 has been at their best on these payload maps, it has been largely off the back of Rib, who has just hit clutch Earth Shatter after clutch Earth Shatter tonight, offense and defense.
Well, for C9, the mantle here gonna go to Kai. Drops in from the back, and he just drops the Diva self-destruct right there on top of the payload. Gets Grim Reality. 5v5 on the payload right now, but Immortals, again, still have the ability to bring this back. Agility's got one key pick off already, but he has gone far too deep, will get taken out. And the problem is for the offense is that once you lose 2 or 3 people like that, the defense will overwhelm you, and you just have to back out.
Well, because even if you lose 2 people, you're not going to be able to close out the point that way. It's impossible. You need all 6, and you need to win those team fights very decisively towards the end because of how the respawn mechanics work. They are going to have some ultimates to work with of their own. I think they'd be best served waiting for Nomi and trying to get a big Earth Shatter in. Mendo's going to have his up momentarily. We'll see if that Dragon Blade comes to fruition.
Sure4 right now holding on to Deadeye. Gonna be zoning things out here. No one really challenging the line of sight there, which surprisingly happens more often than you would think. C9 though, they're holding back, and for Agilities, he's just looking for that one pick off. Sure4 not having any of it here just yet. Back and forth though, both teams really respecting each other on the poke here. We do have the Transcenso coming in from Wolf. C9 kind of move in and out now. Agilities hooks the one person that he can't get with the one shot, finds himself on the wrong end of a Diva and a Cowboy. Sure4 takes him out, and C9 rolling right into this fight.
Mendo just reflected the Deadeye right into Grim Reality. That was a beautiful play by Mendo on his Genji. He cleans it up by taking out Nomi. Short4 and Mendo combined for 4 through here. They're going to get out before they go a little too far, but these DPS have showed up absolutely huge. Finally, some defense from Cloud9 here, and it looks really good. That deflect was sick, because Grim Reality is setting up for a pretty big Deadeye.
Some defense is underselling it right now. It's enormous defense, given that they had no defense right before. Now, even if they were to lose it, they would still have a time bank advantage. So Immortals really struggling to get through the C9 defense towards the very end, and Mendo creeping here on the top, going to be looking for the Dragon Blade on to the back line. And a lot of options here for C9 to win this fight. I mean, they're holding on to 4 ultimates. There might be 3 ultimates on the side of Immortals, but it's still not the best fight situation for them right now. We do have the Hyped opening things up here with the self-destruct. Doesn't get too much off, and in C9, they collapse, they get 2 kills, and have Immortals once more in a bad situation.
The Earth Shadow does come down from the offense looking for some desperation. They are scrapping it out, though, as Aethan and Grim Reality combine for 2, and those 2 are both the support, so they are not long for this world. This is why it is snowballing so brutally as Reality cleans up everyone.
Grim Reality was set up by Nomi there. When the cards were down, Nomi drops the hammer, knocks down enough people to let Immortals get back in the fight despite losing people early on, and they're able to finish it out. I'm not actually Mendo was pretty much on top of the payload, but was knocked off just far enough that he wasn't able to contest. So, in the end, Immortals does finish things out. Not quite the world-beating time that they were looking forward to, but it's good enough that if they can have a solid defense, potentially they could pull this back.
I mean, considering that Immortals went into the last point with 5 minutes left to go, Cloud9 should be feeling pretty good about how that went.
Absolutely. So 118 to 213, difference of about 1 whole push is kind of all that amounts to here as we do reset on Hollywood. It looks like they're going to run... I like this. I like running the Mei here. In this kind of position where you just need to hold probably 1.5 pushes for Cloud9, I think it's a really smart move. Mendo is going to be on the Mei, though, which is generally what Shore4's been running on the control points. So a little bit of a switch up here, but we've talked so much about how when one hero wants to run the run thing, you're not usually losing a whole lot from Mendo to Shore4, regardless of the hero they're swapping off of.
All right, so... you take a look at the offense as it comes out here from Immortals. They are on the attack because they have less time remaining, and I think, remember, their first attack was really, really strong. They caught C9 off guard. You gotta think that C9 this time around, they're gonna be ready for it. And look at how far up Mendo is here on the Mei. Immortals tries to go through that quickly. I think they're gonna find themselves getting split off, but the key is for C9, they need to be prepared to immediately dive in and punish there. There's the wall. It is a successful split, and C9 moving right in to capitalize, and they do just that. 2 quick kills set up by Mendo's wall.
Immortals needs to get out right now. There's no way you're bringing this back. There's no way you get 2 kills immediately and then actually fight on even terms. So it's smart to just pull out. Kind of a godsend, actually, that they did lose so quickly right there. They do hook Kai in, but that was just a pipe dream. Kai's going to boost himself out of there. They are kind of poking little forward. Nomi took a lot of damage on the shield. They're not really going to have the shield up for this next push. Already so low.
They have regrouped here. They have full 6 up once more. The wall not going to be doing quite as much this time. Does not get as big of a split, but it's enough. Like, there's still someone on the other side of the wall. Nomi goes down. It's 5v5 right now on the point, and for Immortals, they don't really have the time to be going back and forth here. They need to start pressuring the point a little bit more, because it's 17 seconds left. They can still win this. It's 5v5, and they will get the 6v5 very shortly as respawns come in, but they need to commit.
I guess they really wanted to wait for Nomi, so Nomi gets in there. They do get walled off. Only the 2 tanks are able to get on the point, but now the position is going to come up. Shore4 is going to look for something here. He does get Grim Reality before he gets Earthshatter.
Oh, Nomi with 2 quick kills onto the point. Hyped. Will get out of that blizzard towards the very end. C9 desperately trying to hold in here on the point. It is close between the 2, but the respawns are coming fast and furious for Immortals here. They are starting to change momentum, and that D.Va explosion towards the very end, I mean, I guess they're really trying to go for the last point hold here, but with everyone dead around for C9, it's a little questionable. There's no one else that's going to be able to get back here on the point, and now they don't have that ultimate up to actually stop Immortals with the payload moving forward in what's going to be a last-moment overtime rush.
He might be getting off the D.Va or something, because, well, he's going to stay on it. I guess, you know, it builds up quickly enough. Maybe you get a miracle self-destruct, but no one was even coming back to the point. Everyone was already taking position. It was just up to Kai to stall them out to allow them to get this high ground, is perhaps what they were thinking, because no one was even trying to come back in on the point to help out Kai. They all just wanted to take rooftop.
All right, and for Immortals here, they can knock it off this payload at any point. This is the mad overtime dash, one of the most exciting parts in Overwatch. Hyped, going to be opening up with a bang here. Soundbear comes out to mitigate a good degree of that. Will get back into his mech. Both teams still 6v6 right now, but Shore4 opening the way, gets agility. C9 now with the 6v3, and Hope slowly going away here for the side of Immortals. They're not going to get that crazy push down the middle. C9 stops it pretty much right away. But victory is not assured for them here, Hex. They still have to capture point A within 2 minutes and then still push the payload that little bit of distance, which could be easier said than done.
Yeah, capping the point is really good there because now they have a win condition rather than just a draw condition. So really nice for Immortals to even get what they got, just given that their clock was so low. A lot of it was that early disengage. They made a few mistakes that they didn't necessarily get punished for. I thought Nomi was taking a ton of damage on a shield that didn't need to be. They weren't fighting at the time, so but not punished for it. Some decent plays out of Hyped yet again. And we'll see what they can do here. They have 2 minutes and 13 seconds to cap the point and get it about 15 meters or 30 meters, something like that. My meter radar is totally off. I have no idea.
Americans.
The metric system is not your friend.
No, it's not even that. It's like I haven't watched enough football this year because meters and yards are essentially the same thing. I just don't have the eye for it. I just don't.
Well, the interesting thing going in here, again, is that 2 minutes and 13 seconds, C9 effectively had about double the time, a little bit under that, when compared to Immortals, but that really only equates to about one extra push for this point. So, given that Immortals is able to come in and cap the point, I don't know if C9 is actually feeling as good about their position here. They're going to need a very decisive first attack, and if it gets stuffed, I think things become pretty dicey for them.
Well, it does look like Immortals is going to run their very standard defense. Nothing super out of the ordinary from them. Grim Reality running the lone DPS on McCree. We'll see where he's perched up right now. He just takes the low ground, does not give anyone a dive target on the cafe. That's kind of how they defend against the dive comp that's only like 1 or 2 divers. Mendo's just going to be up here dancing around trying to get some poke damage. The poke battle is commencing, but every time that, every second this takes Cloud9 to really decisively engage is good for Immortals.
Well, C9, they do get hyped out of the mech. That is a big pickoff early on. Eichenwalde gonna go down. Remember for C9, this is do or die. If they don't get this first point and get this going, the series and the tournament ends here, but Sure4 is opening things up, gets the triple kill. Everything he was shooting at, he hit. And just like that, C9 will be well on their way to taking this first point. And now, the question is, can Immortals somehow find the Miracle Hold right in front of second here? And bearing in mind where the respawns are, that is going to be much more easier said than done. A minute 15 left for C9. Things are looking very good for them to stay alive.
That's a classic example of Overwatch dominoes. They dealt with hype early on, which means no one was able to really negate Sure4, who was up top. He was able to kill Ethan, and then killed Verbo. That is all your healing gone. Then kills Nomi. You're not going to recover from that. It's impossible. So dealing with hypes allowed Sure4 to do whatever he wanted. What he wanted to do was murder every support he saw.
So for Immortals, they have no choice but to be highly aggressive here on the defense. And Ethan finding himself with a Genji right in his rear, going to have to back out, does successfully get up, but now he's in a weird position. C9 could collapse on him. He has to just walk over, does throw the nano boost on the Nomi, and here we go, Nomi onto the point, dancing in and about, but Kai in over the top, gets 2 with the self-destruct, and here comes C9, Immortals falling to the Stiva onslaught. And Cloud9 going to live on to another map. 2-1 now in favor of Immortals.
Final score 4-5.
Yeah, I mean, the offense coming out from Cloud9 was pretty consistent, even on their first run through, and it worked out really well the second time. I mean, the dive comp with Genji McCree has done its job, I think, against Immortals and against FaZe earlier in the day. They should be pretty happy about their offense. It's more on their defense that they need to be concerned about. Now, the issue for Cloud9 is they really needed Lijiang because the last 2 maps in this map pool are both Eichenwalde and King's Row, I believe. And both of those, I think, to me, are favored for Immortals. So Cloud9 is going to have a long road if they want to win this tournament.
Some good note, by the way, there is a very nice point of comparison between Kai and Hype there, where even though I think Hype has arguably been having a better diva set overall, when you think about how both divas played that very last point, Hyped kind of rushed his self-destruct, got very little from it. Meanwhile, Kai waited for the fight to develop a little bit more, threw out the self-destruct in the middle of it, and picked up 2. If Hyped had done a similar level of self-destruct, maybe Immortals gets that payload just a little bit further in their overtime rush.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to use your self-destruct to initiate fights where the team can really play around it, but throwing it in the air in the middle of the chaos where if you like stop a second to even track it and find cover, you're going to die to whoever's trying to hit you anyway. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Self-destruct works best in the midst of a chaos or trying to clean up a fight towards the end. We're going to be going to King's Row. Cloud9 will play defense first.
I think it's a good pick from Immortals. They leave Eichenwalde as the final 5th map if they have to go to. They go to King's Row, which they've had a decent amount of success on. We've seen them go through this map on offense in 3 to 4 minutes remaining. I mean, something that Immortals has done much better than Complexity in the previous series is Hyped is making life very difficult for Surefour. At least when Surefour has to play defense, they're not letting him get a lot done. Yes, the dive comp has been working for Cloud9 on offense, but if they do get stopped, Hype has been making sure to be in his face. And if Surefour's going to play McCree over Soldier, which he has seemed to prefer to do in these last 2 series, it's going to be hard for him to get away from D.Va.
Well, and that's been the big difference, too, when you think about what we saw from C9 earlier versus Complexity, and now what we're seeing here from Immortals versus C9, is that Surefour has found himself under pressure far, far more often. I mean, Hyped has been in his face in a way that I don't think Nicholas really was in the Complexity set, and that makes life a little bit rough for Surefour, and actually harkens back to how Complexity used to fight C9 and have a lot of success, where they would just really focus Surefour above all else. However, the difference is for the C9 team now is that not only are they in a team house, do they have better synergy with each other and all the rest, but they also have multiple threats where, again, even if Surefour is getting neutralized, a lot of times C9 can go, you know, we can expect Rib now to step up as a tank. We can expect Rolf to suddenly have hero plays, and of course, Kai has always been very consistent on flex, so multiple threats on the C9 team.
Well, I think it's not just multiple threats, because I think it's multiple threats at different levels, right? Because it's not just the DPS threats, because I think Reaver was fine working with Surefour as well, but now you have threats that can kill you at the tank level and at the support level, because Rib and Rolf are just absolute beasts on both of those. And that's not to say that the previous roster wasn't like that, but they are a little more aggressive. They have a little more of that kind of bloodlust and killer instinct. Rolf especially, like, he really likes shooting people as support. He's really, really good at it.
Yeah, and did this McCree pick from Surefour, I think, is also directly related to Rolf being on Zen instead of Ana. If Rolf was going to be Ana, I'm pretty sure that Surefour would be Soldier for the combo.
So they are going to run the Mei on defense too. So Mendo is on that Mei, trying to get these wall up. A little bit of a throwback. You don't necessarily see Mei 100% of the time on Kings Road defense anymore, and not even really playing super far forward. A lot of teams will let them in a little bit now and then wall on either side of the statue to really throw them off, because walling at that front gate can get a little bit iffy.
Well, the wall does come out here from Mendo, and it does put Nomi in a bit of a rough situation. Has to back out immediately. Gets a little bit split from his team, but Immortals, they adjust pretty quickly here. They do get behind Nomi, and they're trying to just push C9 back here. The wall comes in, and I don't like that wall from Mendo there. That's a bit of a panic wall. He got very little from it, didn't really buy time, didn't split anyone off, and this is a big opportunity for Immortals now to come in and take advantage.
Yeah, there was a wall that allowed them free passage through the hotel. That's exactly where they wanted to be. They took no damage on their way over there, too. So they hit a hook, it forces Kai up and away. Now still just the poke war as offense and defense exchange positions. Another kind of questionable wall from Mendo.
Skull's coming up here for Surefour, but wasn't able to pull the trigger at a good point. Does get a saving flashbang, though, on the agility, stopping him from getting that hook in. Mendo there at the follow-through, so C9, they're getting pushed around a bit here. Their defense at risk of falling apart, but they're still stalling this out for quite a bit, and it is not Immortals' point yet.
Yeah, but any trade you can make is pretty decent, and now the trade's really coming in favor of Immortals as Grim Reality has taken down both DPS as Mendo and Surefour fall to his Peacemaker there in the end, and wow, this is going to be Grim Reality and Nomi combining for a ton of kills. That should be first point taken for Immortals.
And Immortals, I'd say for there, that's actually pretty decent for both teams. I think anytime you can hold for about 2 minutes on first as a defense on Kings Row, you can be reasonably happy with that. I don't think C9 is upset with how that went down, but for Immortals, they are able to grind it out. They don't have what would be a little bit more catastrophic, where it would take them 3 minutes to potentially an overtime take, so I would say right now between both teams relatively even, but look at Grim Reality coming in over the top, holding on to the Deadeye, and this is where he's going to be looking for Nomi to set him up here. Nomi's going to be down here looking for the Earth Shatter. Grim Reality is going to be coming in over the top with the Deadeye, but C9 not wasting any time. Kai with the self-destruct in over the top, ends up dying before getting back to his mech though, so this is an opportunity now for Immortals.
Yeah, that's enormous. The Blizzard will come out, though, on the side of the offense, actually trying to get this in. And Hyped comes over the top. Surefour, Adam, Mendo, all dead to Hyped and Grim Reality. Offense with a clear path to second point right now. Now, there's going to be another fight, but they're going to get down this first and probably second bend rather easily. Mendo, searching for answers, finds himself on a Genji yet again.
And I gotta say, credit where credit's due. Grim Reality two-tapped Kai as he came out of that D.Va ultimate, and easier said than done, especially given how D.Va's hitbox is, but that was huge. Kai was out of the fight, straight up. It was his own fault for like coming in with the self-destruct and being in that situation, so Immortals right now looking to punish, but Surefour coming back in, grabs agilities early on the start of this fight, and C9, their aggressive defense paying off, pushing back Immortals here and buying some much-needed breathing room.
Not only does he grab agilities, he gets an alting agilities. That whole hog had been channeled and was about to push everyone off the card, so he just took a really nice angle, used the Deadeye on only him, and totally worth in that situation. They are going to trade back and forth now, trying to bully them all the way out, but they don't give up as much ground. So Immortals still in this fight, wanting to get back in it as soon as possible. They will be joined by agility shortly. You're going to have a 6v6.
From Reality coming in, flashbang over the top, doesn't get the immediately fall through that he was looking for. Transcendence out here from C9,
really
and C9 can use that to really solidify here on the point. We do have a late self-destruct coming in, but Hype does grab Adam, so it's still back and forth as Grim Reality gets Surefour. That's huge. Now Immortals could really push this back.
Well, now they're all kind of segmented off, trying to get their duel on. That is going to be Hype taken out by Kai because one was in the suit, the other was, and I'll tell you who wins that most of the time. Grim Reality has to get out as he's discorded and chased down, so they were trying to scrap it out, trying to get gutty towards the end there, but it is going to be Cloud9 holding fully right there, and right now Mendo's got his Dragon Blade up, Grim Reality with a Deadeye and a Nano Boost on the field as well, so see what they want to do. You can get nano-boosted McCree ults. They don't generally work down unless you have a great idea on how you're going to crack that shield or take him out. You can combo it just with a charge if Nomi can feels that he can just take Rib out.
Well, Grim Reality just going to go for the raw Deadeye here. No nano boost required. Will zone out C9, but C9, they back out. No one falls to that. And Mendo right now going to be looking to go in over the top with this Dragon Blade and almost takes D.Va out of her mech. So both teams being a little bit cautious about committing resources, but here comes Mendo to the back line, and Grim Reality having none of it, just throwing Mendo aside. And here comes Immortals now with a 65, an ultimate down for C9, a player down, and this is going to be rough.
Yeah, Nomi was getting bullied out. He did drop his Earth Shatter before he died, though. Can they capitalize on this? They force out another Transcendence out of Wolf, who's used his Transcendence great all night. He stops the Transcend just in time to kill Hype. Surefour kills agilities. Another self-destruct from Kai takes out Grim, and right now, a minute left. Probably one decent push left for the offense. Mendo, styling out, comes out on the defensive Widow. What do you think of that? I mean, I know you're happy, but...
I think that it's a lie. The defensive Widow dream not going to happen. I think maybe he was just on comm saying, I really want to do this, and they're like, no. Go back on
he's been outvoted a couple times tonight. You can tell by his hero switches that he's trying to style, but they would rather win instead.
He lost some ult charge from that too. Not dramatic amounts, but still...
Enough.
Not really needed to just throw that bit of percentage in the trash. You never know if it could have come back in a good way, but here we go. Next fight underway. C9 opening up here with the Deadeye. Surefour just looking for any skulls. Does knock D.Va out of her mech, and that's big. Hype's gonna go down immediately here, the Surefour, and that alone could have just won this fight. Hype has been so important to stall things out, and C9 looking for the kill. The Soundbear is out. They get another, and this has been all Surefour.
Yeah, they should be able to get the cleanup here. Agilities is trying to get something going. It's only Hype to lie, but he just spawned. It is a long walk on King's Row, and there's no way that they're going to let them get back here to touch this cart. I guess he's going to push over the top. Yeah.
For C9, it's a really gutsy defense. Now Immortals, who are looking so strong, looking like they're on the verge of taking it all. Now, if you look at the just raw stats for holds on King's Row, they're not favored to bring this back, and that would be huge for C9. That would be evening up the series and maybe going to a final definitive map to decide it all.
I just like to say that choice in Widow from Mendo at the end, I think, was actually pretty good. He was able to boost to Window and then get sightline at the cart, so just in case he didn't have enough time to get back with Genji. He got a few shots in, did some damage. Don't be hating so much, okay? He went back to spawn afterwards because they held the point, and then he went back to Genji. Not necessarily think he got told, get off Widow right now, go back to Genji.
Oh yeah, because we're the ones who insult Mendo, Slasher.
I mean, very
I was going to say, we've been relatively nice to Mendo relative to you, Slasher, where, I mean, you just say fighting words all the time.
That is very true. I think very solid hold coming out from Cloud9. I do think the 2-2-2 works pretty well for Cloud9 currently because they are playing Zen over Ana in most of their comps because the Surefour and Rolf combo. I mean, it is mainly for that rather than to go 2-2-2 because they've been playing triple tank for the majority of the night and they still had Zen in their composition. But because they do it, Mendo, when he gets off Mei to switch to something else, instead of going Roadhog, I mean, he can go into Genji and be quite effective. And I think that's worked out relatively well for them.
All right, so for Immortals, their best chance here really is going to be getting that first point hold, but first point holds on King's Row are very rare indeed. Of course, they do happen. Say hello to Fnatic sometime if you have any doubts, but it's still not something we see very often here in Overwatch. So for Immortals, are going to have to play this just about perfectly on the defense to keep out C9 and finish the series here. Otherwise, we will be going to Eichenwalde to finish out the series.
Yeah, I mean, there are teams that can hold before second, too. They did get it very far on second, almost there. So we've seen some holds in the streets. Not, you know, I do tend to agree that first point probably their best bet, but a lot of map yet to defend here as they're getting very aggressive on this defense. Hype does go in. He's got to be careful. He is discorded. Another battle going on through the hotel. Whoever wins this little skirmish might have the better bit of it. That's Mendo taking down Agilities, but the two who are over there got cleaned up. Very back and forth right now, Z.
This is still completely okay for C9. They're trading out, but their respawns come in much quicker. However, if Immortals can clear the rest of the side without losing anyone, they might be okay. Grim Reality got some very, very necessary picks there towards the very end, and still laying in the damage from long range. Now, here's the thing for Immortals. They need to back out a little bit. Grim Reality's low HP. They need to just wait for everyone to come back up, maybe concede a third, and then go back in. But look at this Hex Grim Reality creeping around the outside.
It's high noon.
Well, he is McCreepin, but everyone else is pushed all the way off this point. It seems like they've mostly seeded this, but that is going to be the green light to get back in as Grim Reality takes out his opposite number.
That's really nice here from Immortals. There was a great pick off from Grim Reality. Caught Surefour off guard, but now has to get on the point. Has to be in the McCree of the point, not where you want to be, but can't get off for any reason. But he is surrounded by enemies on all sides. 23 HP. It was a nice effort there, Grim Reality, but not going to be enough as Mendo pulls out the Dragon Blade. Looks to secure this in the end, and I'll give Mendo a pass to the Dragon Blade here. It's been easy against C9 and say, hey, you're using ultimates so you don't need to. For how much Immortals is coming back in on that point, sometimes you just gotta be sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. There are some alts that are less valuable than others, and if Mendo feels he's having a good Genji game anyway, then he should be doing enough damage to get that Dragon Blade up. Dragon Blade also charges relatively quickly. It's kind of interesting that they're holding so far back. I'd imagine that they want to fight once at first bend, and then if that goes poorly, they can fight again. There are essentially 2 checkpoints they can defend here.
And for C9 right now, they have all the time in the world. 4 minutes, 21 seconds remaining as they move this forward. They're going to charge right in. Rib has no fear, but maybe he should have. Agility with the immediate punish. Here comes the Zumyata out here from Immortals. Eithan leading the way. And Grim Reality heading up the back here with the damage. But Kai takes down Nomi, so perhaps Immortals a little bit overdiving here. Now they have to concede more ground here, the C9. And Hex, they don't have much ground to concede.
No, but they do have enough ground to concede where they can fight with a decent team fight again. They don't have to force this right now. They have to be very careful to not do so. Kai going down to some Lucio who cleans him up at the end is not great. They would love to fight them here so that the cart rolls back and they maybe have another chance for a 2-fight situation, but right now they just have to be careful to not overextend.
The key for C9 is that they're playing with the house money. They have a lot of time on their hands right now. They really can wait, drain ultimates out of Immortals, and go in with an ult advantage. They can play this really cerebrally if they want to here. So they're getting wiped out here from Immortals. They do need to do something to drain out the Sound Bear and all the rest, but they are still working with an enormous time advantage.
Surefour wanted to kill out Hyped, who was going there, but Hyped was on the comms, called for backup, and Surefour ran right into an Agility's hook. They are going to Earth Shatter. That does... Wow, this is not good. This is not good for Immortal to use Sound Barrier and Transcendence to react to a single Earth Shatter just to save Agility's life. Look how Cloud9 backed out of that. That is 2 support ults that resulted in nothing.
So this right now is a window for C9 to put an end to this game. If C9 somehow doesn't win this fight, it's an enormous misplay on their part. They have everything going in their favor. Sound Bearer is in. Mendo going in even deeper, picks up 2, gets the triple kill. Here comes Mendo, a 4K coming out. Nice kills, Mendo.
Yeah, no one was happier to see both of those supports ults used than Mendo with Dragon Blade at the ready. That is like a mating call for a Genji. Oh, break it down and Transcendence, both off the table? No, don't mind if I do clean up everyone here because you have nothing to stop me.
Well, the key thing there is, too, is that was a fight that C9 had to win. They had everything going for them. If they somehow screwed up that fight and they weren't able to take it with that big of an advantage, it would have been catastrophic, and they very well could have lost the game off it.
They could have let Agilities die. They should have let Agilities die. He was the only one who got Earth Shattered. They got the Transcendence in to save him, but then somehow the Sound Barrier came off too. Just did not need to happen. None of that needed to happen.
Well, they didn't have to let Agilities die, but they didn't have to use both support ults.
Right.
So really, where Cloud9 may have not had the best ult conservation on King of the Hill, here is where Immortals did not do the right thing. One Earth Shatter baited out both support ults, and then when you have Sword Up, that's going to be pretty much an insta-wipe, especially when you have Sound Barrier on top of it. And, you know, Immortals had their chance to put this series away, and although they're going Eichenwalde, and I still have to give Immortals the edge, you have to feel like Cloud9 has some confidence now rolling in with the last 2 map wins, that they must be feeling pretty good about themselves. I almost have to feel like, although Mendo had played Roadhog pretty well by the end of today, earlier on in the earlier series, they're really rolling in 2-2-2 right now, especially with Mendo on Genji, along with Roof on Zen to support Surefour and McCree, where I could see them, especially on a map like Eichenwalde, continue to play 2-2-2, especially on offense, and maybe even on defense. They just say, you know what, we're playing really well with this type of style. Let's try and do it. Maybe first point defense, you have Mendo on Roadhog, but I can see him switching on second point.
Well, the other thing, too, here is what is the mindset of Immortals going into this next game here, where it has to be front and center in their head that they have blown a 2-map lead. Now, they still were playing very strong earlier in the day. They very well could have put the series away earlier. They dealt with C9 relatively swiftly when they ran into each other in the upper bracket, but now it's a little bit dicier here. It really is any team could win type situation, and you gotta be feeling that, at least psychologically, the momentum is absolutely in C9's favor right now.
Yeah, definitely mentally they got to be in a better spot right now. They want to charge up here with an energy drink. Are they sponsored by that? Because they're sponsored by it.
They are sponsored by Red Bull, as C9 is. Okay, that's weird because... Okay, I'm just going to note something here. He can't hear you as you're speaking right now, and he just said that in chat. So there's some sort of mind meld going on between you and Kai Kai. Maybe it's all the abuse that Kai Kai has dealt out to you over the last month here, Hex, where now he's just in your head in more ways than one. I don't know.
Grim reality with that. I think that's probably a Bill Burr reference, sponsored by MeUndies. All right, we are ready to go. Let's go.
I think the good news for Immortals is that both teams have had really good offenses, and that each team has struggled a little bit on defense here throughout this series. So that starting off on offense for Immortals, they can get things going, get things rolling, especially if they take first point within the first 1 or 2 team fights to have a good game. I'm really interested to see what Cloud9 does on defense. You just had Mendo play Mei here on King's Row. What if they decide to do it here on Eichenwalde? We know how good Mei can be. First point Eichenwalde. He's actually deciding right now. He hasn't chosen. I do think that Roadhog has been pretty standard for them, but he's played very well on Genji here. So I think that's actually what they're deciding. Do they put him on Mei and switch to Genji? Do they put him on Roadhog and switch to Genji? Do they put him on Roadhog and stay the whole time? Do they put him on Mei and switch him to Genji? Or do they put him on Mei and stay the whole time? They have a few options here on what they want to do.
All right, so defense of C9 heading out here, and what better way to end the series and really have a microcosm of the night if they were to get that first point hold. More doable in Eichenwalde than it is on other maps in the game. So we'll have to see where this goes down, but they will be running Mendo here on the Mei, where, again, this is going to be heavily control-based here for C9, where Mendo's going to be looking for the wall, and Kai Kai and the others will be flooding in to take out anyone who might be separated in.
All right, yeah, that wall's going to be very crucial. We've seen some not ideal walls earlier tonight on Eichenwalde. You generally want to put it horizontally to block the doorway. Now, I'm no pro Mei, but I think that's generally the strat. It's just, it's nice to see them not running the Torb. It did not work out for them earlier tonight, and I don't want to see it anymore.
Wow, you don't want to see Torb? That's actually a little bit prejudiced. Personally, I want to see the Torb, even if it does absolutely nothing.
Bring back
Aardvark pays off, Hex. Either way, Mendo being real passive with this wall right now, staying really far back. Even if he did land a good wall here, C9 not necessarily in position to deal with it. Now they are moving further up. They will be in position now, but they weren't in the beginning. And I don't know if Immortals realized they had that opportunity, but the wall comes down. Don't know if it split off much of anything there. Adam got fall immediately, and Immortals getting everything their way as they move in.
And Short 4 does get 1 kill, but that is about it. That is pretty much a defense that is already over with. They are going to chase a little bit too, and why not? You've got 4 on the point. Maybe you get that last hook and get another cleanup and stagger the kills, but they're not even going to think about coming in here. Cloud9 absolutely wiped up. Their Eichenwalde first point defense has been less than stellar.
It absolutely has, and I think you can tell that they haven't run Mei on it as much as you might think. The timing of the wall there from Mendo was absolutely off. So was the follow through from the rest of C9 there. So that's the thing about Mei, is that if you're not getting the Mei wall split there where you can immediately fall through, it's really not worth running the Mei over something else that can be a little bit more powerful in direct combat. So C9, they let an opportunity to go by them. Now, they do get a full establishing defense here on second. They are all on the high ground, so Immortals is going to have to deal with that, but they will have a bit of ultimates to throw out the same moment. But here comes Short 4, Deadeye in over the top, grabs Grim Reality, and C9 not wasting any time and jumping right down.
Well, this is a good fight for them, getting 2 kills right off the bat. Grim Reality and Agility is down, so that is most of their damage. There goes Hyped as well. They are going to chase onto this, too. Chasing very far. This could be a little dangerous. Yeah, Rib goes down. He was all the way back at Archway. I don't think they're going to be super punished for it, especially with Short 4 finding Grim there towards the end, but that is a very deep dive that could have gotten a lot worse. They are going to have to give up a ton of ground and a lot of free push. A nice hook comes in late, trying to deal with this, and Earthshadow's going to come down, and Mendo was trying to save his teammate. That's what you get for trying to be a hero, Mendo. He goes down to Ethan.
Ethan getting right in there. 2 quick kills here from Immortals as they begin the assault once more. Short 4, though, unaccounted for here over the top. He's not going to be able to really get on the point immediately. They still have to wait for respawns from the rest of C9. But he will have the mobility to go up, perhaps over to the bridge in just a moment. A lot of ways that Short 4 can handle this. Obviously, for McCree, if you go in on the flank, it's high risk, high reward. And for now, he's just going in up the front. But with all the ultimates that Immortals has, this can be risky. They're going to be able to open up the sound barrier and have the self-destruct. So Immortals with a whole lot of momentum here. And here comes Hyped. Self-destruct in the air, in over the top. Doesn't get anything from it, but the sound barrier, Immortals still all in.
Yeah, sound barrier on both sides here, so it's going to be a pretty lengthy fight, pretty sustained fight. A beautiful hook comes in on Mando, and Agility takes him out of the map. They are still getting it. Short 4 and Wolf, though, do combine to take down a couple of their own. A beautiful Earthshatter yet again. So many beauty Earths from Rib tonight, and that ends the fight.
Rib with just an enormous performance in that last team fight. The Earthshatter, the sealer there, and it was looking rough for C9. I mean, they didn't exactly have the ultimate advantage to start that out, but they find a way of holding on long enough for the Earthshatter to hit, and everything goes well for them from there, pushing out Immortals. And Immortals, they blew everything for that and got absolutely just nothing. So now they're going to be trying to take the high ground the old-fashioned way, coming in through the building. C9 actually caught a little bit off guard here. They have to back out, and for C9, they do recover. No one gets picked off, but I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of where they're positioned right now.
Well, a hook comes on to Kai, but jet boosters are pretty nice to defy gravity. They do get pushed back into the corner here, as it is all 3 tanks trying to bully them out over there. Mendo tries to dash in. Mendo's got the Dragon Blade out.
Dragon Blade out here from Mendo, in off the flank. Doesn't get too much here just yet, but it's enough of a distraction that no one's getting on the Short 4. He picks off 2 before finally falling, and that's enough for C9. They were pushed into the corner. It wasn't great, but from the distraction from Mendo and the Dragon Blade, it opens things up for them. They're going to have another hold here. Now, 2 minutes left for Immortals. They were once flying through this map here, Hex, but now they're on the hot seat.
I wonder if Kai wants to be a different hero, because otherwise that is a huge unforced error that did not need to happen, especially as the fight is about to begin. So yeah, regardless if he wants another hero or not, Kai just went off the edge.
Well, no. He was in Baby Diva.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that, sorry.
That's why he did that. He wanted to get back to his mech. So that's not even unforced at all. That's just good smart play. And he's going to come in here, Diva ult in over the top. Explosion not getting too much of anything there, unfortunately. And he's just getting knocked right to the floor. In comes Immortals. And Kai, he was still low to the fight there. I think if he was going to do that, he probably should have done that a little bit sooner. Right. Unfortunately, Immortals, they have the momentum in this fight. They get 3 kills, and they should be able to push us to the end.
Okay, well, regardless of my ignorance, I do feel that reset was a little bit mistimed because they were already coming in there. So if you're going to reset, do it right away. It feels like it took them too long to do so. They are going to grab at this point, I believe. And Kaikai is now back in a full-suited D.Va on the point. Him and Mendo trying to combine. Everyone just scrambling to really come back on this point. And you know what? They're not going to win this fight, but they drained a lot of ultimates. Actually, this ultimate coming up from Wolf is a little bit interesting too. So going back and forth now, they're throwing everything at this.
They're throwing everything at, but the Zenyatta has bought enough space. Now, D.Va Explosion from Hype does come in, takes out an extra, and C9 now on the back foot once more on this point. They will give it up, but you're right, they did drain a decent amount of ultimates out here from Immortals. Now, they had to pay ultimates of their own, but I'm actually okay with that. Remember how last point Eichenwalde goes down, where you have to have a whole lot of momentum going in to this last point. This is really the best chance you get because the gate is open. The gate will close behind you and will never open again. So for Immortals, this is their best opportunity to finish out the map, and they're going to have to make do with just Nomi's Earthshatter, at least to start out the fight.
Well, Nomi's going to have to channel his inner Rib because Rib's been killing it. That is a very decent Earthshatter right now. Knocks him down, but they do force out the Sound Barrier. Keeps everyone alive through that Earthshatter regardless, though. That is a couple quick kills for Immortals as Wolf goes down during that fight. Very segmented fight now. Rib finds himself all alone in the backline trying to finish this kill. He does eventually get 8th, but everyone else is dying.
Agility's coming in huge towards the end of the fight, grabbing 3 pickoffs, keeping Immortals' chances alive. And remember, as I mentioned, this is their best chance of bringing this to the very end. They still have 1:19 left. C9 now on the back foot, and here comes Agility. He's going to open up with the whole hog. Rib getting blown right up by Grim Reality. 6v5 here for Immortals as they struggle to stay in this. A big hook on the Surefour. But C9, they've got a few kills here, Hex. And you know what that means in terms of respawns? They could still push Immortals out.
Every kill that the defense gets is so critical here. It makes the offense's job that much harder, and the fact that offense are not getting kills at this point in time means that they're going to be fighting an uneven fight momentarily. Burbo not skating fast enough to get away from Kaikai. That is a good hold. One last push for Immortals to finish out this map.
All right, so Immortals going to have that one final attempt, as you mentioned, but getting through, easier said than done. Although C9's holding really far back right now. They're not really interested in taking advantage of these tiny corridors for which Immortals has to run through, and this kind of feels like a little bit of a mistake here for C9. They're giving a lot of room to Immortals, and I get it, the payload's really far back, but they could have made this entry a lot harder for Immortals. They just walk in for free.
Even if you lose that fight up there, you're going to respawn in time to get back there, but the Earthshatter does come in, as Sound Barrier coming out as well, as it is traded back and forth to start out this fight.
Well, Mendo right now getting to work on the Tracer, has 2 already, moving in, actually forcing Genji way back, and that's great because while Genji's back there, he's not fighting the rest of his team, and laid back defense or not, C9 will repel Immortals here. They will hold before last, and now Hex, all they need to do to win the map, win the series, and win yet another monthly melee is simply bring this payload to its final destination.
Yet another monthly melee.
The Merry Melee this month, but
so it's
still the same.
It's the most important one so far because it's festive. Slasher, what do you got?
I mean, you've got to give it up to Cloud9 again after a pretty rough first point defense, considering they went Mei for Mendo and that failed miserably, and then Immortals was able to get the point. They got ult charge, they got the ult advantage going into the second point. They actually got the cart all the way to the bridge before Cloud9 was really able to win their first team fight, and then they hold for 3 to 4 minutes. They were able to stall out the cart until maybe 1.5 minutes to go for second point, and then Mendo is able to switch into Mei for a little bit, but then goes back into Genji, and they hold on third point. So I think Cloud9 should be feeling pretty good about themselves that Immortals is not able to even complete the map, considering how fast it was for the first point.
Now, bear in mind, going forward here, C9 is going to have a pretty impressive attack on their own. There's still the big threat of being held on first point on Eichenwalde, and just in general, it's a map that's more conducive to the defense, so don't be fooled watching home and thinking that C9 has an easy route here. They're still going to come out with a world-busting attack, because plenty of times we see teams get held right before last. In fact, I think overall stats-wise, I think it's more common than teams actually finishing out the map. Might be wrong on that. It's pretty close either way. But C9, they're still going to have to come out with a good attack here.
Cloud9 should feel pretty good, though, because their offense throughout this entire series and all of day today and yesterday has been really on point. I mean, their bigger problems have come on defense. I mean, for them to be running Genji on defense against triple tank on McCree, that shouldn't be working. But if that can do it on defense, they could definitely make this work on offense all the way to the end.
All right, so C9 here on the attack. Nothing too crazy about what they're coming out with, and they don't really seem to want to run anything along the lines of double flankers. They're more than content with putting Mendo off on his solo mission, but it's worked out more often than not for them, so a lot of different ways of going to attack here, and I don't like this at all from Immortals. They gave up that archway pretty much for free. C9 is in a great position here. And now the question is, how's Mendo going to deal with this, where the rest of his team is with him, he can flank to the left at any point. And now he's looking for Eichenwalde. Eichenwalde has a Discord orb on him, but Mendo doesn't feel confident enough to go in, so he's going to have to back out for now. Both teams trading off poke. Surefour lucky not to die here, but C9's still in great position for getting through the archway relatively unscathed.
Yeah, Mendo got bio grenaded, which is why I wanted to get out, but now they know that it's kind of on cooldown. The cooldown should be reset now. Surefour's kind of going to poke in as well. Still bloodless so far in this fight. De-suiting does come down as Hype is out of his suit, I believe. And now it's still no kills from either side. Wolf goes down first. That is really going to hurt not only their healing, but their kill potential as well. Surefour does even it up, though, taking out his other number. Very back and forth CP.
Well, he wins the McCree versus McCree battle right now, but the rest of his team is just getting eaten alive by agilities here. Get some very key hooks towards the very end of the fight, and Immortals will push out C9. I'm not really a fan of how much space Immortals gave there, where they didn't even throw any sort of glancing poke at C9. C9 was also able to build up quite a bit in terms of ultimates here. Sound Barrier and the Dragon Blade certainly going to be on the menu here in just a moment, so if Immortals is able to hold this here, it'd be huge, but it's not looking great. A lot of cards in C9's favor. But Rib grabs Grim Reality early on, and now for C9 the question is, how much do they even blow on this? Surefour gets a double kill, but Mendo will pop the Dragon Blade to try and finish this out.
Yeah, Surefour came up over the top. Mendo only getting one before he is hooked and taken out. Surefour goes down in short order afterwards, so the tank's holding strong for Immortals. 2 minutes left for Cloud9 to get this first point and extend the map. Despite some decent positioning from Surefour on his Deadeye, the rest of his team not able to get anything done below him. Mendo now done with Genji is going on to the Tracer instead.
Well, the problem there is that C9 did too well in the beginning, and it fooled Adam into not using Sound Barrier. Then they actually needed Sound Barrier to finish it out, so that went all sorts of wrong there for C9. Agility is being pretty aggro here on the Roadhog. Dives too deep, ends up getting punished. Just 3 quick kills here from C9. Hype trying to bring it back with the explosion. Does pick off 2, but it'd be a tall order for Grim Reality to bring this back, or even just stall it out for long enough. He's going to try, but he is all on his lonesome right now. C9 looking like they've done, finally, what they needed to do to take this point.
Yeah, you're not going to get away from Mendo's Tracer either. They're going to come back. Agilities finds his way onto the point, gets a nice dash all the way through Mendo. They are going to fight this back. They're getting respawns pretty decently here.
They're getting respawns, they also just got blown up. Earth Shatter in the self-destruct, but this is still good delay that's going on here. Kaikai is getting the mop-up needed here for C9, has the triple kill right now, about to make it in 4. But look at all the time that's being burned off the clock right now for Immortals. Normally, I'd be a little upset at this, saying, oh, they're throwing good money after bad, so on and so forth. It's actually not the worst delay-wise, especially in Eichenwalde, where time is at such a premium.
Right, the door's not even going to open here until they get set up top. Now, Mendo's going to try to get cute, gets hooked and killed for it as he was trying to go to the backside. Agilities found him. So they're going to be in position where they were going to be on defense anyway. Like you said, that door is like, just not even going to open yet. Agility's going for a little cheeky hook. Does he get a hook? No, but he gets punished by the Diva. A nice save there by Kaikai.
Alright, so for Cloud9, 2 minutes and 45 seconds left to get this a second. Grim Reality getting picked off by Mendo early on. Mendo deep diving, getting rewarded with that pulse bomb. Oh no, goes too deep. Agilities again being the hero here for Immortals. He's been their backbone. He's been what's buying them time for a lot of this defense here in Eichenwalde. Lands another hook to put Kaikai in position. Kaikai trying to get out of there with his life. And take a look at Agilities here. Hexy's going up over the top once more, looking for that extra pick. We'll see if he can get it.
Nomi hit a huge Earth Shatter. He's going to force out this Transcend, but it is a little too late to save 2 lives. That is already 2 down for Cloud9 on this push, and that Transcendence is going to mean nothing now as Wolf ends up dying. Yes, Kaikai gets a kill, but it is all Immortals on this hold. A lot of it because of that enormous Earth Shatter from Nomi.
This is Sensex. It is 2-2 between both teams. This is the final map in the series, and it could not be closer, where both teams throwing haymakers at each other. Immortals coming out ahead in that last fight. About 2 good pushes left here for C9 for second. Kai and Hyped both armed and at the ready with their mech bombs. And Kai gonna open things up here. I think he meant to send that into the air, but even if not, it still finds Agility's regardless. 5v5 between both teams. Agility's bomb, or Hyped's bomb, not getting quite as much done, but for the defense, they're probably okay with trading out at this position. The respawn's relatively even between the two, and the offense really does need as many people up as possible. C9, though, they're still pushing the issue in Rib. He's been big for C9 all day long. Will he find the big Earth Shadow right now? He's looking for it, as Immortals right now scattering and going to the high ground. Yeah,
I think they just want one more fight. It's only going to be a minute left, so if Immortals wins this fight, they're in great position to win this map. They're trying to get another Earth Shadow in. Agilities gets boosted as well. Back and forth right now. Dragon Blade comes out. Is it going to get enough?
It is not going to be enough. Mendo not able to find anything there. Sent spinning towards the end. Agilities with another very vital hook. It is back and forth on the payload right now. Surefour trying to bring it back. Has two. Looking for three, but gets hammered right off the side. Now, 39 seconds remaining. C9 has had an incredible effort to bring this back thus far. They brought themselves back from the brink. They were down 2 games. But if they don't win this next fight here, Hex, it is all for naught. It all comes down to this.
Well, they will have the only ultimate on the field for this next push. They can transcend in, and if they can stay healthy, stay alive in that transcend, they should win this fight. Like I said, it's the only one there. Rolf is going to come out. He's got the transcend out. Transcend about to fade. He's all over the place, so this team is so scattered, trying to get fights everywhere. Grim takes down Rolf. Grim dies to Surefour.
Surefour moving in over the top, has a Deadeye. How many happy little skulls is he going to get? Finds Verbo towards the very end. C9 fighting for their very tournament life right now. We are in overtime. Immortals trying to just get them out of here, and it's Ethan with the double kill towards the very end. Surefour falls to Grim Reality. Immortals just a little bit more, and that is going to be it. They dispatch Cloud9. They stop the crazy reverse sweep right in its tracks, and what a defense for Immortals, and their first Alienware monthly melee win.
A player I've been tracking tonight has been Nomi, and 2 huge Earth Shatters on defense sealed it for him. The fight around the bend, the Earth Shatter very much towards at the end. They're on the card. He got it, gave up his life, but allowed Ethan to clean up afterwards. Congratulations, Immortals. Yeah, fitting this guy gets it. He's had a good series tonight.
It's had a very good series tonight, and I'll just note, by the way, think about all the times that Immortals had stall here on first point, where C9, they were looking like they're going to get it early. Immortals came back, and they bought themselves an extra minute or 2 there. That's a really big deal in the course of the map, where it really did come down to the wire on second. If they don't buy that amount of time, maybe C9 gets second, and who knows where we go. But in the end, it is Immortals. They needed every little bit of buffer that they had in the finals, but they find a way of winning Eichenwalde. That's going to be it. And Slasher, what are your thoughts on everything, man?
A lot of props, as Hex mentioned. Got to go to the tanks for Immortals. Both Nomi and Hype playing great throughout this series. My MVP, though, is Agilities, even just because of that last map and the way he played all throughout this tournament. He got so many hooks right there in Eichenwalde on first point. He pretty much saved them in that first team fight, and then the second team fight, even through the bridge phase, he got Surefour while he was ulting. He was able to flank around. He was able to stay on the cart and make sure he didn't die. And Agility is really making himself known, not just for his Genji, but now in this Roadhog meta, really playing the hero that he needs to play for this team. So as you mentioned, not only is this the first championship for Immortals in the Alienware Monthly Melee, it is their first title in Overwatch. For any online tournament or any LAN tournament, Immortals has had a team for quite a long time now. And FaZe and Cloud9 have kind of dominated the NA scene, and this is a big win for Immortals.
Are you sure Immortals never won a weekly or something at some point, even as the weeklies were ramping down?
A decently major tournament. No,
okay.
This is their first kind of large-scale online or LAN tournament win.
Invite. I'm call it invite.
Yeah, I'll call it an invite tournament. Well, I'm down for that. But yeah, I mean, it's a big milestone for Immortals, and obviously they have changed up the roster quite a bit. A lot of people crediting Verbo, and for good reason. Apparently Verbo was the shot-calling brains behind Immortals in their showing here today, and it definitely seemed to show. Immortals was making good decisions for the most part, and surely they had heroics from a lot of their different players, but it was still smart gameplay to put them in that position to begin with.
Yep, that's all shot calling to do. Put your team in position to be successful, then the execution has to follow. They had both tonight, and yeah, it's kind of a breakout tournament for them. To beat Cloud9 twice is no small feat. Congrats to Immortals. Cloud9, I'm sure we'll see them around. I'm not really worried about them.
All right, so any final thoughts here before we wrap things up here for tonight for the last monthly Melee of the year? It's been a fun year, guys.
Yeah, a lot of great tournaments. I've loved doing these Alienware monthly Melee broadcasts. I think that they've gone really well in terms of like showcasing both the meta and up-and-coming teams and the current state of both NA and EU before the major LAN events. I think this one will be doing the same before MLG Vegas. I think two things I got to say is, one, I got placed into Grandmaster at 4,100, and unfortunately, I made a bet earlier today with Capcom Cup Finals is on that NuckleDu was going to lose versus Zhaohai or versus Xian. And because I lost, I now have to play Mercy in solo queue for an entire day.
Wow.
So really not looking forward to that. I'm going to be going down to Master. I'll probably be as low as Golden Boy is. Second thing, the OGN finals between Envious, our proud American team, and the Africa Freaks Blue is in an hour
Golden Boy's
and a
even here
half.
to defend himself, just so we're clear. That was the cheapest of cheap shots, but continue.
That it is an hour and a half. So if you want to see more top tier Overwatch, the grand finals will be on very soon. Stay up. Make sure you see Envy versus Africa. I do have to give the edge to Envy. I think maybe the real grand final was the semifinal that they just played versus Kongdu, and that Africa didn't look as well as they did in their semifinal versus BK Stars. So I've got to give the edge to Envy. Root on the American team with 5 Europeans and a Thailand player. Envious in the grand finals coming up soon.
All right, thank you for that, Slasher. With that cynicism and snark, Hex, anything you gotta say here before we take off here?
I will
for the
try to
night?
keep it quick, but yes, there's stuff I want to say. One, just thanks to Alienware and Curse and everything. These tournaments have been amazing, and we hope to bring you more of them in the new year. I see them not stopping anytime soon. Hopefully, we'll do them in perpetuity. Best time of the month for me. But there is another tournament before MLG Vegas. Yours truly, ZP, Uber Shouts, Sideshow, and Zoe will be there at the MSI tournament, so please tune in. I believe it's the 7th and 8th. I hope I'm right on that. I think it's the 7th and 8th.
I mean, you were taking an international flight there,
I am
so...
taking an international flight, so I hope those dates are correct. So if you like me, ZP, Uber, Sideshow, and Zoe, definitely tune in for that. It should be a good one. We've got some nice teams there, so that will happen before MLG Vegas. I will sell out this one time for myself. ZP, the time is yours.
Well, Hex has covered the sellouts that I was going to go for, but hey,
Do it
follow
again.
your favorite casters on Twitter. You can follow me, Twitter at TempoZP. Following them on Twitter, one of the best ways of showing support. I'm pretty much done here. It's been a long day, and thank you guys so much for the year of support, whether it be here in the monthly Melee or on other casts. It does not go unnoticed. You guys are awesome, the true MVP. I mean, it said that I cater a lot to Twitch chat, but you know what? I love you guys. You guys make a lot of this fun. You make a lot of it entertaining. And honestly, without you guys, we'd just be broadcasting to ourselves, which we'd still probably do, but it wouldn't be anywhere near as great. So thank you guys. Happy holidays for you for the rest of this month. Of course, we'll be seeing you around different casts over the rest of the month, but for those who watch this channel, watch the Melees, thank you so much. But with that said, we are going to be taking off here for the night. A lot of Overwatch action actually still coming on during the night with Apex and all the rest. But for now, guys, we will catch you next time.